I told you guys I'd be back. I'm back. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, the like. Share this video if you think it's interesting enough that other people need to know about it. And don't forget to hit the bell, guys, so that you're notified when I put new videos out every time. Let's just jump right into this. First of all, it's Thanksgiving time, y'all. Let's give many thanks. Now, you're going to wonder about these two next statements. Okay, these were comments that were made on my live chat last night. And I know I keep referring to the chat last night or the live stream, but there was a lot of interesting stuff discussed in that live stream last night. And y'all really need to go check it out. But, anyways, the Real Rockin' Robin makes a statement. It says, Wood Fairy. See, I think Hawkins County has been filtering all the leads and getting rid of them. It almost seems they do not want Summer found for some reason. And Wood Fairy says, at the Real Rockin' Robin, they have been filtering something. I work on a case locally with outside sources for this very reason. Can't say any more. That seems interesting. And I bring this up, guys, because how many cases do we have to sit and wonder about? I mean, do they space them out over the years so that maybe people will forget what's going on, what's been done, what's been said? Now, this video might be a little bit longer, and I know some of you hate it when I read, but then there's others who say they can't see the words on the screen because of the size of their phone or because of their eyesight. So I read for those people. If you don't like me reading, just turn it down and read it for yourself is all I can tell you. But remember back when I did a few videos on Dr. Chris Calendine, I believe is his name. He was the pediatrician in Rogersville who invited a couple of teenage boys home with him to spend the night, and one thing led to another, and that led to him having charges filed against him, blah blah blah. Well, my understanding was he got 2 years for that and then was released, I guess, on probation, whatever. But it was called to my attention, guys, that he did get 8 years, and I thought he spent 2 years in jail. But no, he wound up spending 6 months in jail. Let's read over this and see if there's any names that are in common with, let's see, the Sherfy case, um, Brandon Lawson case, uh, I mean, there's a few of them out there that we need to go over. So let's just see what this article says, and then we'll see what we can't figure out. Okay, here we go. It says, Rogersville pediatrician pleads guilty in child S case, sentenced to 8 years. Now, this came out on September 23rd, 2018, and it was updated April the 26th, 2021. Okay, it says pediatrician who not too long ago was one of Rogersville's most beloved citizens will spend the next 6 months behind bars and 8 years on probation after accepting a plea agreement Monday in Hawkins County Criminal Court connected to the allegations he SA'd two juvenile males in 2017. Now, keep in mind, guys, y'all have to understand this doctor was the pediatrician for Rogersville from 2005 until 2017. All right, it says Dr. Christopher Lawrence Chris Calendine, 46, was scheduled to stand trial Monday morning on one count of aggravated SB and one count of SB by an authority figure for allegedly touching two boys ages 12 and 14 during a sleepover at his Rogersville home, July 2017. On Monday, however, Calendine pleaded guilty to the reduced charge of SB, a Class E felony, and was sentenced to 2 years, as well as the original SB by an authority, for which he received 6 years, with the sentences running consecutive for a total of 8 years. He must serve 180 days in jail, day for day, beginning Monday, and the rest of the sentence will be served on probation. Calendine also loses his medical license, and he will be on the SOR for life, which, among other things, prohibits him from being in contact with any juveniles who are not his own children. From my understanding, I don't know, but back in 2017, I don't believe the man was even married, let alone had his own children. So, why was the plea deal offered? Attorney General Dan Armstrong acknowledged that there will be people who disbelieve 6 months imprisonment is not long enough for these crimes. But they also don't know the strength and weaknesses of the case, Armstrong said. They also have to realize I'm looking out for the welfare of the victims as best I can. They, the victims, and their families agreed that this was a good resolution of this case. Sound familiar? Didn't we just hear something like that from Cecil Mills the other day about a more recent case? Armstrong added, we decided to let this case plea for 3 reasons: to protect the public, to protect these particular victims, and to make sure we protect any possible future victims by putting him on the SOR. By giving up his medical license and by pleading to this case, we think we've done all 3. Hold up. You're telling me you think by putting him in jail for only 6 months, you're protecting any future victims? So you're already saying that you believe there's going to be future victims. Something ain't right here, guys. Something ain't right in Hawkins County, I'm telling you. The 2 victims are now 13 and 15 and would have been subjected to cross-examination where their credibility would have been called into question. Armstrong added, this came down to a credibility case, so you can imagine what that's like going through that. No, I can just imagine that you just didn't want to try it. The original allegations. The original aggravated SB indictment stated that on July 23, 2017, Calendine engaged in contact with a 12-year-old male and that he acted intentionally and knowingly with regard to the victim's age. The original SB by an authority figure indictment stated that on July 23, 2017, Calendine engaged with contact with a 14-year-old boy and acted intentionally and knowingly with regard to the victim's age. The indictment further states that at the time of the offense, Calendine had custodial authority over the 14-year-old victim and used that authority to accomplish contact. Armstrong added, I appreciate the work of my assistant Ryan Blackwell and investigator Teddy Collinsworth. They worked hard on this case. We were prepared to go to trial, but I think it was a good outcome to save the victims the stress of a trial and also making sure that he did not practice medicine, especially when it comes to children, and that he goes on the SAR for life. Last month, Calendine was indicted on 39 counts of identity theft, which he also pleaded guilty to Monday. He was sentenced to 2 years, which run concurrently with the other 8-year sentence, which means he did not get any extra time, guys. Consecutive means one right after the other. Concurrent means you are doing the same amount of time at the 8 years for the one charge and the 2 years they run side by side. So he didn't get any extra time out of it. Anyway, sorry, for 2 years, which run concurrently with the other 8-year sentence. Armstrong noted, however, that with the additional 39 felony convictions, if Calendine commits any other crimes in his life, he would be sentenced as a career criminal. Imagine that. What's worse, being an SO or a career criminal? The identity theft charges are the result of an investigation by the Attorney General's office into Calendine's past, in which 3 witnesses were uncovered who made allegations of SA against Calendine dating back to the 1990s. Armstrong was seeking to have those witnesses permitted to testify before the jury at Calendine's trial. If he had more victims that were willing to testify, why did he take a plea deal? During the course of gathering information from those witnesses, it was revealed that in 2013, Calendine allegedly sent an email to one of those witnesses in which he admitted to prescribing Adderall, a Schedule II narcotic, to another male, but using the drug himself. When investigators began looking into the Adderall claim, they compiled enough evidence to acquire indictments on 39 counts of identity theft. Adderall isn't mentioned in the indictments. However, instead, Calendine is accused of acquiring catamine tablets, I can't pronounce it, using another person's identity without that person's knowledge on 39 occasions between December 15, 2004 and July 29, 2008. So he was doing this, he was breaking the law and stuff before they ever hired him to become the pediatrician for Rogersville. Catamil is a synthetic form of thyroid hormone used to treat thyroid cancer patients, but it is also used to increase metabolism and in treating major depressive disorders when used in combination with antidepressants. Protective custody. Calendine will serve his 180 days of incarceration in the Hawkins County Jail, during which time he will be in protective custody. Okay. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson told the Times News that Calendine will be confined to his own cell for 23 hours per day, and he will be allowed to exercise outside by himself for 1 hour per day. Sound familiar? Lawson said Calendine's protective custody is based on the nature of his crime and not his status in the community. Lawson said it is routine in the Hawkins County Jail for inmates accused of or convicted of certain types of crimes, such as crimes against children, to be placed in protective custody. Who is Dr. Chris Calendine? Calendine has been a pediatrician in Hawkins County for the past 17 years, including the past year, while these charges were looming. So he was still getting to practice medicine even though he was accused of doing this. Well, they got some great morals in Hawkins County. Not talking about all Hawkins County, but, he opened Promise Medical Group in Rogersville in February 2017. He founded Pro Strength and Speed, which was a physical fitness program for Hawkins County youths based in Rogersville. After he was charged, Calendine volunteered as Cherokee High School's football team physician until December 2016, when he was arrested for public intoxication at a volunteer high school basketball game and was banned from all county school grounds for 2 years. He also made headlines in 2016 when he started a reward fund for a kidnapped Hawkins County child by donating $10,000. That fund eventually grew to $40,000. Promise Medical Group COO Sherry Ives told the Times News on Monday that Calendine hasn't been a part of that organization for several months. While the events surrounding him are unfortunate, he has not been part of Promise Medical Group for quite some time and, of course, will not be. Ives said, "We have 5 very qualified providers who will continue to deliver exceptional care to the people of Hawkins County. Promise Medical is committed to being here for the people of Hawkins County and now for many years to come." Ives said Calendine's departure from the Promise was his decision. Well, it was a collective decision, a business decision, and he was in agreement with that. More articles about Dr. Calendine. Carly's pediatrician puts up $10,000 reward for safe return. Judge asked to allow testimony of past child S complainants against Rogersville pediatrician. Pediatrician accused of child S crimes seeks juvenile records of accusers. Rogersville pediatrician Calendine indicted on SB charges. Dr. Calendine's practice business as usual a day after arrest on child S charges. Hawkins pediatrician charged with public intoxication at high school basketball game. Calendine removed as Cherokee football team doctor due to PI arrest. RCS picks Dr. Calendine's medical group for in-school clinic. One little good thing is all there is on reports about him. If you all found this not very interesting, then I'm sorry. But to me, it's very interesting that even going back 2017, that the Attorney General's office just seems to pull out of thin air reasons why they cannot punish a RSO the way they should be punished. They can't give them the amount of time that they need to give them behind bars. What is the deal with them pleading RSOs out? I do not get this. Like I said, we have Brandon Lawson. We have Don Sherfy Jr. How many other RSOs have they pled down? Dr. Calendine's another one. What other things are out there that we don't know about? I want to start digging, and I would hope you all will dig too and see how many other people committed horrific crimes that the Attorney General's office has pled down and then made up excuses of why they done it. Sorry, I don't mean to be getting loud, but this just really, really ticks me off. Pray for all the victims in all these cases, guys. Every one of them. And I'll see you in the next video. God bless you all.